Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. After loads of speculation over the last few days as to what exactly is going on behind the scenes at Sentinels, PANcada has given some response and does not seem happy at all. As you might expect, the fact that he is not starting for Sentinels at the moment, not in their practice. He was in the Tarek show match team just the other day, and it does not seem like in that big tournament in December, PANcada will be playing in their starting roster. Could Sentinels go for a 6-man option? PANcada does not seem so happy with the outcome though, as it presently stands. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. I did not watch the e-dating stream yesterday, but unfortunately Zekin's parents, I believe, did. So, as he says here, bro, this is not going so well. And look, I don't even want to comment on this, but I'll bring a quick little tweet up. Now, some positive news, it's got to be said, on the Riot ID changes. This is something that we shouldn't even have to discuss in the first place, but we saw quite a while ago that Riot ID said, all right, you can now only change your name once every 365 days, and if you want to do so, you then have to charge, well, you get charged for doing so, $10 US charge, which just was one of these things that nobody appreciated this, nobody liked it, and it was just a clear, money grab attempt there from Riot Games. So they've, replaced this now, and they've said, all right, sure, you can do it every 90 days instead of every 365, and removing that $10 USD charge. So sure, a good change, a positive change from what it was going to be. Still not sure why it necessarily has to be 90 days. There's also been some rumors that maybe the $10 USD charge remains, but it's like because you can change it more often, then it doesn't really matter so much. I don't know. It's still, they're not getting all the good PR back that they lost when they initially did this announcement, but they make enough money from skins anyway, so I think that they can get away without the $10 name change charge, to be honest. Now, let's talk about Talent Esports. They confirmed their roster yesterday, and as we rumored for some time now, kind of wild, I'm not going to lie, some of the players they brought in, and just some of the acquisitions that are being made out there in the Asia-Pacific region right now. It's sensible, I think, some of the players they've picked up. It's definitely from, an Overwatch League or a League of Legends perspective, the idea that many North American players are going over to the Asia-Pacific region to play over there as their targeted options is, it's pretty rare you would actually think that would be the case. But in Valorant right now, that is what we are seeing. So Talent Esports confirmed that Governor is joining them. They're actually, they confirmed that, of course, Cruz and Patafan will stay, but Governor and Ban and Lenny will also be joining the team. So that's going to be their roster going into next season, and I thought there was some interesting screenshots going around of when these guys were all playing in tier 2, tier 3 over in the US, over in North America. We see, Governor and Ban. And of course, Korean players, right? So cool to see them, back out in the Asia-Pacific region. But, nonetheless, the fact that they were in the North American region for a very long time, playing up against, for example, Rossi on the other side in this particular match. And Rossi, we now know, has joined T1 in another pretty wild set of circumstances. So congrats to all those guys. Hopefully it goes well for them out in that region for the upcoming season. Just a quick note as well on Fluorescent, of course, now under SR. Used to be version 1, but Fluorescent is going to be out there in Sao Paulo for the Game Changers World Championship coming up very soon. So I'm pretty sure lots of the players are flying out basically around about now. It begins in a few days time, but they want to get there early, make sure they get accustomed and then try and go for the title. Some drama as well from Boostio's mother. We see probably every, maybe every week. It's not that common we really see it, but usually there's some sort of esports pro parent drama every 7 days or so. And usually it's because they're leaking a roster, which quite often happens, or they're, popping off against someone or other. And this is what happens here. So Boostio's mother comes out and says, about the Evil Geniuses Best Esports Team at the Esports Awards. I think this will be a bit of a challenge to win. It's also a question, right? Sure, EG won Champs, and Champs is big, but over the course of the season, who was the better team, EG or Fnatic, right? Both of which are nominated for the Esports Awards Team of the Year. But if you never win the big one, it's difficult to win, the overall award. You know what I mean? So Boostio's mother was not so happy the fact that Evil Geniuses haven't really been tweeting about this. They haven't really been massively promoting it, and obviously she's pretty keen for her, boy and the team to win this award at the Esports Awards, which may or may not happen, but, she says, haven't seen them promoting EG's Valorant team for best esports team. Make a mom's dream come true and vote for these guys. Now let's talk about Sentinels, because over the last few days, there's been lots of theories and lots of discussion on what's going on with Sen, what's going on with Zelsis, what's going on with PANcada. Zelsis initially was subbing in. There's no doubt he was initially subbing in. PANcada was unwell, then Tens was unwell, then Gen.G was unwell. Basically, everyone's been unwell. They made some changes. Zelsis has been fine throughout most of this period and has been replaced replacing, well, generally PANcada's role. He's been on the smokes. And we saw the other day, the new assistant coach, well, he was analyst last season, but Drew Spark, the assistant coach this year, says that, oh yeah, Zelsis, make sure you practice your smokes, brother, because we're going to need that from you this upcoming season. And that's exactly what we go on to see, because James Lebev said yesterday that, so kind of like VLR Scrimbucks guy turned reporter, he gets his information from what's going on in scrims, but also from other sources as well, and says that, yeah, going into this Africa TV League, which is going on in Seoul in, well, a couple of weeks' time now, in early part of December, they are practicing without PANcada, and Zelsis continues to play. So even as quick as, even as recently as a couple of days ago, there were rumors that, is this fully true or what's going on? But yeah, this is now basically a done deal. That Zelsis is in, PANcada is out. World Championship winning controller, despite the fact that FNS said not that long ago, and okay, they're not going to listen to FNS necessarily, but he said that as far as he's concerned, it's a no-brainer. You keep PANcada, he's got higher ceiling on that particular role, more proven player on that particular role as well, more experience playing with Sassy, for example, as well. Clearly, that was the intention going into the year, but Zelsis has come in and stole the show, and for whatever reason, the coaching staff seem very much satisfied with Zelsis being their new controller player. Will that be proven to be correct when they turn up in Seoul for this Africa TV League without PANcada, or could they change their minds? But for now, this is how it is. We had some scrimbucks coming through yesterday. Again, EG spotted. No Demon 1, no Boostio, no Ethan, with Nature and Apoth there as kind of rounding out their team as well. But Sentinels were scrimming as well. They played all esports yesterday. The quality on this is not the best, but we can still see roughly who each player is. So, or Niliaz, Brax, Pancakes, etc., etc. But on the Sentinel side, John QT, Zekken, Kaplan the coach, Zelsis, Sassy, and Tens. So, again, it's the same story. So I was wondering when we would get some sort of statement from PANcada on this, because it's not like Sentinels have said this outright, what's going on, but when they confirmed the other day that the show match was going to be between the starting Sentinels roster with Zelsis, and that PANcada was going to be on Tarek's, super team or Avengers team, whatever they call it, that they were playing against, that was as good a confirmation as you're really going to get. But Zelsis, Zelsis hasn't really said this officially, as Sentinels haven't said this officially, but I think the implication is relatively clear. So PANcada comes up with a very nice little play here, gets this, to be honest, a pretty ridiculous clutch, 30 HP, got to defuse the spike, not really sure what these plonkers are doing, to be honest, but he does get the 2Ps and gets the defuse as well. But as he says, why all the same if I don't even play? So, it's kind of saying to Sentinels, hey, look, I'm still here, I'm still the player that you want to have on your team, but apparently not for the time being. So clearly some frustrations there as far as I'm concerned from PANcada. Clearly thinks he's good and he's playing well, but yet he's not even going to be playing. And the implication is, of course, that, well, he's not going to be on the team at all. This is a potential option, I guess, for Sentinels. Could be, would they, turn their roster around a little bit? Could they do a 6-man type roster like we see with DRX and other teams have trialed? I don't really like that idea. I prefer sticking with a team of 5. Maybe for certain maps, PANcada's better than Zelsis, but, how do you practice in that scenario? It just makes things more complicated. So, technically, on VLR, Zelsis is still listed as the sub, but I don't think that's the case anymore. From all the indications, PANcada's now the sub, Zelsis is in the team. Could they do a 6-man roster? Could they change things around? Yes. Do they want to? Is that in the best interest of the squad? I don't really think so. I don't really know what's better between Zelsis and PANcada. Clearly, the team thinks Zelsis is the way to go, but understandably, PANcada's not going to be happy about it, and we might see more frustration come out from PANcada over the coming days if that is to be true, especially because when Zelsis joins, he wanted to focus on his content and also have a chance to compete at some point. I'm not sure he really expected to be finding himself in this position so early on. So they've obviously got a big roster over here because Sick is still considered listed here, but of course we haven't seen anything from him in some time. Hopefully he's okay. And Marved, inactive, but we know full well he's going to NRG. So that's soon going to change, I imagine, and then they could run with a 6-man roster. But and I'm guessing PANcada will be out there with them in Seoul for the Africa TV Ivy League tournament, because I guess they need a substitute to be there in attendance just in case. But that's all we have so far from PANcada. I wonder whether, there's any thoughts from Sassy as well, given the fact that he came into Sentinels with his, Brazilian duo in PANcada. We've seen plenty of clips over the last couple of years as well where, Sassy and PANcada will find themselves in a 2 versus 2 or 2 versus 3. They'll start communicating in Portuguese and it works out for them. But, that's not really an option anymore, right? With PANcada out of there, with Zelsis in. So, yeah, wouldn't have predicted this coming into the season, that PANcada would be effectively benched shortly into the season. But a player of his caliber is not just going to sit there and take it, He's going to be trying to prove his worth to get back into the starting team. And maybe that's going to be good for himself and his own performance and the performance of the team on the whole. But Zelsis won't want to let go of that substitute spot or that starting spot as it is now, with without a fight, I suppose, despite what PANcada might be putting out onto the timeline. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments section below. Just a couple of things going around here between Vanity when he says, when is Icebox making its return? And Com doesn't like it so much. Bro probably likes Breeze. Fracture best map to ever exist, says Com. So yeah, see what Evil Genius is still rather enjoying Fracture going into the new year. And also on Sunset quickly, we haven't seen that much Sunset be played, but it's been around for a little bit of time now, and there've been quite a few maps played on it, at least in the off season. Just if you guys have been playing the map and are struggling to figure out, right, what should I use from a composition perspective, this is what most kind of matches have been played on. So the most popular one is to go, everyone uses Raze, everyone pretty much uses Omen, really, kind of thing. Okay, a couple of other options, but the most used ones are actually no Sky, but Fade instead, the Breach, and then the Cypher. So that's the way things are now. Chamber is kind of viable here as well, actually. So, that's one thing to look at. But yeah, the meta is quite clear on Sunset as it stands. So very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new as always. Take care, and I'll see you next time.